Welcome to the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network.
Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe, brought to you exclusively by Big Bear Barbecue Supply. Victory Monday on Overreaction is brought to you by Big Bear Barbecue Supply in Depew, New York, the only barbecue supply store in Buffalo with national and local rubs that you can try before you buy. They're the source for your sauce. I made it up myself, John. You like that?
I love it.
It's so good to have everybody with us. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wire. That guy sitting right over there is John Fina. You can find him on Twitter at John Fina. I am coming to you live. Despite John being home yesterday and me being home yesterday, I am now in Boston and John is now in California. So we are doing this live on location. Is that right? Even though there's no real good location, we're just in two crappy hotel rooms paid for by our employers. But so good to have every single one of you. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this podcast, vidcast on. Please like it. Please subscribe. Please do us a favor and tell a friend. If you're enjoying the daily content that Jerry, John, and myself are bringing you, please tell a friend, get the word out, let them know, share it with somebody, share it with your mom, share it with your dad, share it with somebody. Just let them know that there's this really cool podcast you're listening to. And the guys are really handsome. There's this Irish guy and this Italian guy, and they're really, really good looking. And a Polish guy.
And a Polak.
And a Polish guy. We're multicultural here at the Overreaction Sports Network. But yeah, it's so good to have everybody with us. John, the Buffalo Bills are 5-2. We talked yesterday on the Postgame show that they are in the business right now of stacking wins. Every AFC East opponent lost this weekend, which is probably just a sign, as I talked about on the Aftermath today, that the AFC East might be the worst division in football. One coach has already been fired. You might be looking at I'm in Boston listening to the radio on my way down to Gillette, Foxborough, and they're on the radio, literally talking about firing Gerard Mayo. He's got to go.
Already? Hey, I'm here for it all, man. Victory Monday. Savor the division. Miami's imploding without a quarterback. The Jets are in complete disarray. No shocker. And, of course, this generation of Buffalo Bills fans just loves it when New England is sucking high and you know what. And I got to tell you, I'm here for it all. And I'm wearing my shirt. And I'm ready. Just extend the celebration as long as you can, Bills Mafia. And I'm here for it. And I'm going to deliver you some good running plays. And we're going to chat it up. I'm so excited. Savor the moment.
Savor it. I just can't see a world where Mike McDaniel survives this year either. The Dolphins are just a mess at this point. And he can't even, he could be running for president. That's how bad he is in press conferences now with his ums and stammering and not sure what to say and doesn't really answer the question. But
the good news is he's got those clam digger pants. He'll just go straight to the beach and just take nice strolls with his wife and his kids.
Right. Right. The funny part is all these guys always end up with another job. The NFL is the one place where you can be fired 17 times and still get a job making $1 million a year. It's
yeah, you can fail up in government too. We've seen it happen left, right, and sideways.
But looking at this football game, it's settled with you. I was able to be somewhat cathartic on the Aftermath show. Before I talk, just kind of where it's sitting with me, where does this game sit with you at this point, 24 hours later?
Oh, I'm really happy about it. I want to be leading by 2 touchdowns at halftime, but when it doesn't happen, what you want to see is what team comes out in the second half.
Right.
And clearly the Tennessee Tuxedos were not ready for the Bills of the second half. And again, we talk about adjustments. It's not always adjustments. Short week, like we talked about with Jerry last night. Guys just need to get into a groove. I don't know if they, got to amp it up sooner, get into a groove sooner, but I'm happy with the way they came out and just, didn't take any crap in the second half and really, exhibited or enforced their will or forced their will on the Titans.
Right. There's just the way the game started, right? So it started slow. There's a lot of people out there saying it was an ugly win. I don't think this was an ugly win.
I don't think so either. I read that.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of built like Buffalo media people, guys and girls that we talk to here on our network, as far as on the beat. That ugly win this, ugly win that, and there's some other people questioning it. And then it's like, well, did you watch the first half? And while the first half was slow, particularly the first quarter, and that's not a position that I don't think the Buffalo Bills should relish being in. Well, yeah, because there was a little bit of giggling in the post-game pressers, like, oh yeah, we started kind of slow, weren't used to being in front of the crowd with how loud they are, yada yada, ha ha ha. And it's like, you do that against the Chiefs, and it's going to be a problem. You do that against the Niners, it's going to be a problem. You do that against potentially the Dolphins, and it's going to be a problem. Like
Baltimore. I mean, yeah, and I agree with you, Joe. It's not an ugly win. To me, an ugly win is you win 13-10, and you got less than 150 yards passing by both teams, no explosive plays, just a miserable punt back and forth. It might have looked that way from the Bills' perspective in the first half, but in the second half, we had explosive plays, we had ball distribution, we had fantastic running plays. We had a kicker that made every attempt. So ugly win is a bad definition. I think people are just too tired to fish around for another word or another expression, but that's okay. It's a W, Joe, and I'll take the W.
It is Victory Monday. I liked what you said in the hot take reel that we put on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Reels, and all that kind of stuff. Just about remaining patient. That like as a player, you just remain patient and you wait to kind of get it cleaned up. Whether that's the players begin to execute or the coaches find a way to get the players executing, or they have to tweak or make an adjustment. And I want to go back to yesterday, to that conversation around that topic that we were having. And you said something in that clip that you've said to me several times, and I've agreed with you and laughed. And it's somewhat true. Like there's an aspect of every fan, every football fan, not Bills Mafia, every football fan wants their team to score a touchdown every time they touch the ball. And they want 7 sacks or 3 sacks in a row every time the defense is on the field. There's an aspect of that is yes, but I don't think that what we saw yesterday and the frustration that was coming out of me, particularly during the first quarter, and even on Twitter, was necessarily we've had 3 possessions. Why don't we have a touchdown? They've had 3 possessions. They've got 10 points. Why can't we score them? I think it was more of a matter of like the Tennessee Titans blow. They're a bad football team, and right now we look worse. And I don't think anybody was looking for like touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It was more of a, hey, can we complete a pass, or can we like execute a first down? Can we convert a third down? Can we make a stop? Is that something is that too much to ask for? Because right now, if this game continues after the first quarter of the game, it's not going to go nice. And I feel like it's not one or the other. It's like I think there's a middle ground. And I think as a fan personally, and I know that you're learning to be a fan still because you played football most of your life. I think you can ask for the tweener as well. I think you can ask for not perfection, but at least competence, football competence.
Look, I don't disagree with you. I don't chalk it up to incompetence, right? I think there's an underlying theme of this is our plan, and we're going to apply it as we've developed it, and it may not work in the first couple of drives. I don't like it either, but I've been in those games. But what I do like is that there's a little bit of an underlying tone to the running game that we discussed last night. You got these 2 just immensely powerful and large men at defensive tackle for the Titans, right? Yeah. And if you can tie up, stay close, have the lead by 3 or so, what you want is those guys so tired they can't lift their arms up to their shoulders. And when we look at a couple of these clips, you're going to see that's the design for James Cook, and the design to get those guys moving. And then I'll show you a couple of clips where toward the end of the game, it was very clear that the philosophy and the strategy in the first quarter translated. Now we're minus a block here and there, minus a communication thing. To me, yes, those are a concern. I also, you ask all the time, and Jerry and I, we don't have an answer because we're not in the locker room. Can Josh change the play at the line of scrimmage? Can he go Riverside? Riverside. We used to say if you're running
Rita.
it right.
Rita, right? He does Rita. Yeah.
Yeah, Riverside. So does he not have that option? And if he is making a call, who's not getting it? Because there's a couple of runs I'll show you, and it's like, hey, come on, guys. Like, somebody has got to be responsible for this guy.
Before we get go ahead.
Yeah.
I was saying
and hopefully they're doing that today and tomorrow or Wednesday. Today and Wednesday.
Yeah, today is workout day. Tomorrow's their day off. And
but today they should be reviewing the film. They're probably done by now.
Gotcha. But the good news in all of this, outside of the small little critiques, and I came at Josh a little bit on the aftermath today, as far as just being better when he's recognizing his offense is down on first and second down, being more efficient, which we talked about yesterday. But I think the greatest takeaway that I have, even in talking to you, of this game, outside of the obvious, they started slow, overcame, and throttled the Titans. I mean, they played near perfect football after like the middle of the second quarter. Dude, this is a football team that since Josh has gotten here, but specifically since 2020, has had a hard time running the football. Really, really hard time running the football and staying consistent with it, game in to game out. And last week, they were wildly successful against the Jets, which have an imposing, threatening defensive line. And they put it to the Jets last week. Like they were going downhill at the Jets. And then in come the Titans with probably two of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. And they put it to those guys a little bit later. And that's a positive sign for me as far as going forward with the addition of Amari Cooper. It's like, we have a run game where we can impose our will on people, and we've got weapons, and we've got Josh Allen, and we've got Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. If that defense can look the way that it looked in the second half of this football game, or even close to it, like, it's nothing but positive signs from here on out, in my opinion.
There's just this little thing that you got to add to what you said. While I agree with everything you said, you close out games with the running game. So when we started to take control of the game, that's when we just imposed our will in the running game. Those guys were tired, and we leaned on them, and we were picking. And not every play is a 4+ yard success, but when you can stack up a 10 or 15 or 8 or a 20-yard gain, those are backbreakers on a defense that's tired, right? And again, to your credit, you've got to be able to put teams that are 1-4 away early. But if you don't put them away early, punish them later. And that's exactly what we did. And you could toss around game plan. You could say, who's the right fit? What's the right call? Sometimes it takes a while to decide if your original plan in the run game is going to be the effective mode to run, or that we did a little bit of that. Now we're going to go back to a little bit more straightforward stuff. We're going to throw another guy in who's a little fresher. And you know what? It seems that Ray Davis is the benefit of coming in at the right time. Though both of them, I think, eclipsed 100 yards. So that's good.
Yeah, awesome. Well, why don't you
both
take
together, not individually?
Yes. Why don't you take us into a couple of plays there, boss?
Yeah. Okay. So, caveat: the all 22 on the NFL Plus was a disaster today. Plays were out of order. They were mislabeled. I couldn't even get the first 2 drives of the game. So this is going to be a little exciting when I pull up here. So give me a second here, my lovely and talented fan. Okay, this is cool. I love this. So I talked a little bit about these 2 big guys. Let's get them tired early on in the game. Let's get them moving laterally. Let's not come straight at them. So this is a cool wrinkle. We're going zone weak, but we're pulling guys. And what we're doing with James Cook is trying to give him an expanded defensive front so he can pick and choose. So here we go. Boom. We got a pull across the formation. The defensive tackles are running all over the place, expanding. Now, if we could just get Dion to turn that up inside and James to follow him and not have to duck and go, we got a little bit better play. Not a negative play, not a fantastic play, but nonetheless, I think this is the plan. You get the big guys moving.
Right.
So
nothing for me on that one. That would make sense.
That's my take on that. All right, let's move here to.
Was that early in the game? Because that was an inside handoff out of shotgun. Was that early?
That was early in the game. Now Ray Davis, right? We've talked quite a bit about, hey, Ray looks really good. Let's feed him the ball a little bit. This play does not look very good. And I had to cut the clip a little bit early, but this is straight inside zone going right back to college football, the way it's run right now. So we're just trying to mash right up front. And you know what? It's not always successful. Have a quick look here. Everybody's mashed up in front. But what Ray Davis does is he just decides, I'm probably not going to end up anywhere good if I go outside the tackles. I'm just going to duck my head in there, not lose yardage, and we'll line up and run again. And this is a loss insofar as we want yards. We didn't get them.
Well, even in the still shot that you just had. So if you run that again and then stop it where you just were. So let it run. And
here's the point. You want to stop it.
Actually, I was going to go a little bit further than that. So when you see it right there, stop it. So both of those gaps on the outsides, which I believe are the C gaps, both get filled. Their gap integrity in this situation is perfect.
Yeah, they did a good job. Sometimes they do. We don't like it when they do, but they did. And you could look at this play and say, "Oh God, we can't run that play again." But I'm going to show you in another clip where the same play goes for +10.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the nature of the running game. All right, here we go. This is one of our favorite plays right here. We call this split zone. Everybody on the offensive line is moving to the right, except for Spencer Brown. He's going to come across the formation and kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. But something peculiar happens here. They line up with the 3 technique out over Spencer Brown and the defensive end way out in space on the right side of your screen.
Right.
So we don't have the extra guy to pick up this defender on the end of the line. So again, they've got a better defense plan than we have a play. So everybody does their job. They go to the right. Now, the defensive end crashes right behind Torrance here, right?
Yep.
Now, in a perfect world, when Josh hands this ball off to Cook, he's heading directly at that defensive end. And in a perfect world, that will hold that guy. The defensive end does not take the bait. He continues his crash. If Josh pulls this ball, he's at the 45-yard line. And there is no safety in this league that wants to see him in the open field.
Yeah, there's a safety out there on the stripe, the Buffalo stripe, but that guy's definitely praying to God Josh doesn't take that football.
That's right. So now this begs the question, does Josh have a keep option on this? Because if his read is the end and this guy's crashing, can Josh pull it like they do in college? We may or may not give him that option. So they crash it.
Oh, sorry.
Go, man.
If you back it up to the beginning, my question is how does Josh at year 7 not see that this play is? I mean, I get, is he just trusting that when he sells that RPO, that at the mesh point that he's going to hold that defensive end? Is that what is? But then again, I mean, it got crashed in on the left side too, the left side of the line. Like Cook got smothered.
And I'm wondering why Dawson Knox doesn't cut off the outside guy. I'm just kind of wondering that. You know, why is he?
Let it run. Let me see.
Yep, right there. Why does he not have a better effort on this guy? Could be he's moving before the snap of the ball, but that's really not a great effort. He could still mash that guy down.
He lets him go. He legit lets him go.
I think lets him go. He's outflanked right there.
He doesn't execute a chip on him. If he's supposed to chip him, he doesn't even touch him.
He's not supposed to chip him. He's supposed to block him. But what Dawson decides on the snap is, I can't get that guy. I'm going to leave him for Spencer, and I'll take Spencer's guy on the outside.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's not too bad assignment-wise. But going back to your first question, Josh may not have an audible off of this. If it's early enough in the game, we're just going to run it. We're going to see how they react. If you spend your entire game planning sessions on, if they do this, we're going to check to that. They do that, we're going to check to this. You are going to get paralysis by analysis. Sometimes
I thought that's what football was as a fan.
Oh, well, you're right about that. So
I literally thought that the quarterback's job was to. So it goes back to the Jay Cutler when he was the Chicago Bears quarterback the last year that he was there, and they removed every opportunity to audible or check or do anything at the line of scrimmage. And there was a primetime game in general where he's breaking the huddle in the second half because it's been several games. They're not playing well. He can't check out of plays. He gets the play, and like over and over again, they're in the perfect defense. And like audibly through the broadcast, you hear him say, "You've got to be effing kidding me," because he knows what's about to happen because he's angry at his coaching staff because they won't let him do anything. So all that to say this, there's an aspect of like as a fan, when you grow up watching Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, John Elway, like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, like Tom Brady, that like, no, my job as a quarterback is to get us out of this play and to get us into something that's going to work.
Well, I agree with you in some part, but those offenses were a heck of a lot more static. We didn't have all the wrinkles and formations that we run now. This is all very new. This has evolved up from the college field. So, we do what we can with a playbook that we bring to a game that is so vast. I mean, we probably ran 5 or 6 formations in an entire game when I was in Buffalo or less. And if you line up and you don't run a lot of motion, the defense is showing you where they're lining up. You can flip a play. You can audible pretty quickly. But we use a moderate amount of motion. And sometimes at the beginning of a game, you have a script or you have a number of plays that you're going to run. These are your base plays. How are they going to defend against this formation? If you keep checking and checking, you don't really get a peek into the philosophy that the defense is bringing to the game.
Got it. All right, you keep going. That's a great conversation. So that helps.
I hope somebody enjoyed it. It was painful for me. I'm just kidding. You're the best, Joe Miller, the best. What did I do?
He spotlighted himself.
I did. Yeah. How do I do? Oh, okay. I got the wrong.
Here we
go.
Were you about the monologue?
I was going to monologue it. I was going to take it all. All right. What do we have here? Okay. Really cool. All right. I talked about getting the big guys tired out. Now look at the formation again. The defensive tackle is out on our freaking tight end. Right. And you say it's a defensive tackle because the guy outside of Kincaid or Knox has got his hand on the ground. So he's a DN.
Are they effectively in somewhat of a wide 9 at this point?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Are
sure.
they a wide 9 defense, or do they do this to is this a game plan for the Bills? Do you know?
I didn't review enough of their film previous to the game, but what I could tell you is, again, we're going back to how can we get those big guys moving a lot? I know you said in our chat on what's that app called again? Discord.
Yep.
You want to hit the edges. Well, if you can't hit the edge, there's a way to get everybody moving, expand the defensive front for James, because like Jerry says, he likes to slash, right? He likes to do a jump cut and go. And the best way to do that is expand all the personnel, and you can maybe find a seam that way. Now we do something really cool here. We're pulling the backside tackle and the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the left guard. Center, pardon me, Connor McGovern. Why are we doing this, right? They're actually not, it doesn't even look like they're going out to block anybody in particular, but what it's doing is it's opening up wide spaces all over the place.
Right.
So we got these guys moving, they're fighting pressure, they're moving down the line. In the end, he just decides to cut it up. Could James have taken this outside? Could he have taken it outside? I think he could have taken it outside. But he turns upfield. He gets 5.
Follow McGovern instead. Like if he'd have taken off, put a hard right in the ground and taken off and followed McGovern.
It'd have been a hard left, but
hard right foot in the ground to go left.
Left foot, hard right. If he's running to his left foot down, turn to the right.
Oh, I'm picturing driving off his right foot, but that's fine.
Never cut on your inside foot, especially on grass. But he makes a choice, picks up 5 yards. Successful play.
Yeah, 5 would be absolutely acceptable. And I think that's what got lost in the translation of this game a lot early, especially is like the 3 and the 4 and the 5 yard runs that a lot of the fans of the Mafia just deemed as, not great. Right.
Yeah. Well, and it always starts that way if you have doubts in the beginning.
Right.
All right. Let's let this one run. Zone week later in the game. Thurman Thomas special. This could have been James Cook. I think it's Ray Davis. This is literally the play that we ran for 100 years. The only rub is, oh, it wasn't even a rub on this one. All we're doing is everybody's stepping left. It's a chorus line. You pick up the guy in front of you, you combination with block with the guy next to you if you're uncovered. And all we're trying to do is late in the game, how tired are you? And this is exactly what happened. We come off, we're establishing the line of scrimmage right there. The front side, meaning Edwards and Dawkins, this is typical. You're stepping on the weak side. The guy comes up field. You create a seam by essentially losing yardage, but you get a great block by McGovern and Torrance, and you get this nice soft spot in the middle, and then the tight end does his job. Spencer Brown is up on the linebacker, and this thing, you can't block this any better. You absolutely cannot block it any better than what you see here.
Super good.
This is the stuff that gets offensive linemen excited. Oh, hell yes.
But there's a significant difference in philosophy as it pertains to those inside handoffs out of shotgun that are longer, as you called it yesterday, developing plays versus these, which are straight downhill plays. Is it a week-to-week thing? Are the Bills better at one than the other? Because it seemed like the inside handoff stuff worked last week, right?
So it's situational. Later in the game, we're ahead. We want to we're going to run the ball. We are going to go straight at you. I personally love the running game from under center, Joe, but how's Josh going to read the secondary when he's bent down there? He's not going to see through the guard. He's not going to see through the tackle. Visually from the gun, everything is so much better for the quarterback. The run game is quite a bit better for the running back. And you can see, bang, he's downhill. By the time Josh is handing him the ball, he's 3.5, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but he's also at about 40% of his top speed.
Right.
But this is not a pick and choose play. You're handing it off on the play side. We're going downhill. This isn't inside zone where you hand it off to a guy who's standing still and he's looking at the A gap on the left and the B gap on the right, or the C gap on the right and the A gap on the left, as per where the defensive tackles are lined up. This is basically saying, I'm handing you the ball. You're going to run down the hash mark, which is essentially what he did. Wow, he was right on the hash mark.
Mm-hmm.
Great play. And a great time to run it, too. You love finishing a game like that when you're an offensive lineman.
What's this one? This is the last one?
It's the last one. And guess what? It's the same play. Zone week, Deion Dawkins and Edwards. Now, it looks a little bit different. The defensive alignment is different. So Connor McGovern is going to come over here, and he's going to A block with the left guard, and then Torrance on the backside is probably going to work with Spencer Brown here, and we just create a soft spot up inside. But what I love about this, Joe, and this is stuff we never did, watch the wrap block from, I'm going to assume this is Kincaid. There's Knox, there's Kincaid, or vice versa. I'm sorry, on the right side. You can't see my cursor. So instead of trying to use what we used to call a C block, where the tight end and the tight end would do a backside combination, we have the guy in the line of scrimmage blocking out to the defensive end, and then the guy in the slot, more or less, moves to the inside, almost like motion on the snap of the ball, and he finds his way through and takes most dangerous. This is really cool. I wish we did this stuff back in the day. And there he goes. And that little block right there by the tight end, wrapping around the other tight end, impact, drives him 4 yards, and we pick up about 10.
Nice. So those are all great. When you analyze this game, what were they doing that was causing one formation or one run scheme to work versus the other? Just real quick before I get us out of here.
Sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes they have a better defense lined up, but I think the important thing is if you can run a formation with a run attached, and they line up in a particular way, and you think, okay, it wasn't successful, what else can we run off of that play? You have to get into the same formation between the 30s or between the 25s again, to see if their defensive philosophy is going to be consistent. And
Gotcha.
I know that's a little bit like, you're in the lab with, 2 ounces of hydrochloric acid and a little of this and mixing it up. But we talk about it being a chess match. People just don't love it when you're trying to apply the chess match theory to the actual game. Because as a fan, you're like, oh, that play went for 0 yards. Throw that one out of the playbook. Well, had we done that when Ray Davis went for 0, then we wouldn't have seen him go for +20 and we wouldn't have seen James Cook go for +10. Right. So the best thing that can happen to an offensive line is a defensive line that's exhausted. And we spent the game strategizing that run game to wear them out, spreading them out, taking our shots. But more than anything else, Joe, sticking with it, knowing and having the confidence that we can run the ball against anybody, and in sticking with it when it doesn't look great.
Right. Super good. Super great analysis. John, thank you so much for that. Before I get us out of here, why don't you talk about our Victory Monday sponsor, Big Bear Barbecue?
Hey, it's Victory Monday yet again. We love it. Yo, yo, yo. Are you a grill or barbecue master or aspiring to be? Or are you just part of the Grills Mafia, or you want to be king of the street in barbecue? If you want a unique rub or a sauce, please get in your car, drive out and see Mean Joe Green at the Big Bear Barbecue Supplies in Depew, 425 French Road in Depew. It's right next to Antoinette's. Everybody knows where that is. It is Buffalo's only barbecue and grilling supply store. Joe loves to talk about barbecue. And by the way, he's got 12 local companies along with national brands and a whole laundry list of things that you've never seen before. Here's the good news. You can test them. You can taste them. You can lick that finger, dip it in, or pour it over. Let's keep it food safe here. But they got it all. He's got rubs. He's got sauces coming in for a monthly class. Get educated on your barbecue journey. Sample everything. I'm telling you, he has a ton of experience, ton of knowledge. Go in and pick his brain. Bust through the door of Big Bear Barbecue and scream, John Fina, Joe Miller, and the Overreaction Pod sent me. You'll get 10% off, and you'll get a free door prize. That's pretty sweet. 425 French Road, Depew, New York, Big Bear Barbecue Supplies.
Absolutely love it. Great job. Yeah, he's I've been in there a couple times. And so, John, we're going to get a video from you, I think, cooking soon with one of the rubs that he has sent you. It's from Hardcore Rubs, which you cannot get in Buffalo outside of Big Bear Barbecue. It's the camo rub. Now, the black, they've got a black that is unreal. And he was short on the black, so he didn't send you and Jerry the black. But as soon as you can get a hold of the black, oh my gosh. But that camo one is super good too. And then I think Jerry's going to cook with the trifecta, which is another one, which is great. I've tested them both. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. It's gonna
I can't wait to get in the lab and run them out. I'm thinking beef ribs. I don't know, pork ribs, maybe both.
Some, maybe both. That's awesome. For those of you that don't know, John rather, is cooking all the time. So all the time in our text group, John Fina cooking food, and Jerry as well cooking food. So I cook, but I never send pictures. Don't ask me why. I just don't. But John, great show, my friend. I'm going to get us out of here. This was a great football game. It was a great win. Looking forward to the Seattle game this week. My wife and I are actually flying into Seattle on Thursday, and you toyed with the idea of maybe going out. So who knows? Maybe we'll see him. Maybe we won't. But looking forward to this week's game. Tomorrow on the Overreaction Sports Network, On the Beat, Joe Marino is going to be joined by Jerry Ostrowski. Wednesday, Hump Day Hotline with me and Jay Spence the King. And then Thursday, the Big O Show with Jerry Ostrowski is going to be previewing that game against the Seattle Seahawks. And I think Jerry's going to be doing a little bit of different stuff this week. He's kind of finding his groove, which is good. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for us, and I'm excited for the Bills. But any final words before I give the salutation?
I might be joining that show tomorrow with Marino. I can't miss Marino.
Oh,
yeah. I'll have to see if Jerry will let me join him. Sometimes he gets a little territorial.
Little tease from the fifth.
Other than that, Joe, it's Victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let's go. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Off Tackle with John Fina show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe, brought to you, Victory Monday, brought to you exclusively by Big Bear Barbecue in Depew, New York, the only barbecue supply store in Buffalo, New York. For me, for Jerry, for John, for all of us here at Overreaction, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.